Well, a prenup, as you know, is a contract between the parties. So the court doesn't run to overturn a contract. It does everything to encourage the parties to enter contracts and then to support it with the finding that there's a binding nature to the contract. However, if the court finds that there was fraud or some coercion, or that the agreement is somehow unconscionable, then the court, particularly in Michigan, can accept parts of the prenuptial agreement, modify other parts. The court can find that some of it's good, some of it's not. At the end of the day, the court's going to look at, is it a fair agreement? Does it make any sense? Did the parties have an opportunity to have their own attorneys look at the agreement? It's very funny. You ask about the prenuptial agreements. When somebody asks us to write a prenuptial agreement, one of the first things we ask them at the firm is, when you get married? If the answer is, I'm getting married in 6 months, that's fine. More often than not, the answer is, we're getting married in 2 weeks. You are? Well, then we're not writing the prenuptial agreement. Why? Because we write the prenuptial agreement for the purpose of it being, upheld by the court. Nobody wants to spend a lot of money writing an agreement, only have the court strike it down. If you're getting married in 2 weeks, though, the other side can easily argue, I was coerced, the wedding was upon me, I had to worry about getting my dress, I had to worry about the menu, I had to worry about this. I didn't have time for this nonsense. They put me something, I signed it. I didn't have time to hire an attorney, I didn't have time. That's the problem with the prenup that is presented 2 weeks before the marriage. So when we tell people, look, the main thing you want is to have a binding agreement. If you want to have a binding agreement, get it to the person in enough time so that they can have it reviewed by counsel if they want. They can have enough time to have it negotiated if there's something to be negotiated. If you give it to them at a time when they couldn't do that, you run the risk of the court saying, I'm sorry, there's too much coercion in this agreement, I can't uphold it. So you got to be mindful of that. That having been said, once the agreement is there, it's not necessarily made of stone. The court can go beyond the agreement, like I said, uphold some of the provisions and modify some of the other provisions where it would be appropriate to do so if there's, for example, significant life changes, etc.